Well, Sir David Amess is the Conservative MP for Southend West and chair of the All-Parliamentary Fire Safety and Rescue Group, which commissioned one of the reports that was into that earlier fire you heard Mr Corbyn talking about. And Matt Wrack is the General Secretary of the Fire Brigades Union. Thank you both for coming in. Were lessons learned after the Camberwell fire?
Just want to say immediately there are no adequate words to express my sorrow for the families affected, and it's very frustrating that we're not being wise after the event. Our voice is now being heard once there's been a disaster. We have said over and over again, sprinklers stop lives being lost. And in 2013, the coroner, after the Lacanau disaster, recommended that sprinklers in these 4,000 old tower blocks could be fitted. And that's what we've been asking for all along. And we've also asked for a review of building regulations. We've been waiting 11 years.
Right. And what response have you had? Have you been stonewalled, or you've been told it's too expensive?
Well, it's all there in hindsight.
It's just, well, we want to do it, and yes, maybe we'll have another commission.
I mean, this farce shouldn't have happened, and I just do not understand.
So who are you blaming, David? Because that sounds like a central government policy decision.
In the anger and bitterness that everyone's feeling tonight, I'm not blaming anyone.
Right.
I'm just very frustrated that we're not wise after the event, that our all-party parliamentary group had pointed out to Parliament consistently that these things should be acted on. So, for instance, it's crazy that all new school buildings, as a matter of course, do not have sprinklers immediately fitted. You can't put a price on any person's life. That's the bottom line.
Right. Matt Wrack, what have you taken out of this? The cladding issue? The sprinkler issue? I mean, where would you cut it?
Well, again, if I may firstly, just on behalf of firefighters across the UK, say how horrifying this incident is, and our thoughts are with the residents and particularly those who are bereaved tonight. It sounds like that is going to get worse. And also to pay tribute to the firefighters and emergency service workers who have undoubtedly saved lives. I mean, that's the starting point, is that there needs to be an absolutely thorough investigation. The truth is, this should not be happening in the UK, one of the wealthiest countries in the world.
We've known how not to have it happen.
Indeed, and after Lacanau House, we provided support to the central government's fire and rescue advisor. We provided technical support from our own fire safety experts, and clearly, actually, action hasn't been taken as a result of that incident. So, very serious questions have to be examined.
Did either of you know that polyethylene, which is a flammable or partly flammable material, was being used in cladding for buildings in current renovations or very recent renovations?
Well, I certainly
and was creating this chimney effect that means when you get a small fire, it just races up the entire...
Crazy.
Those pictures from France are crazy.
I woke up this morning to see that. I've attended fires in tower blocks before. I've never seen anything like that in the UK. And I think that's what will have shocked firefighters, to see the whole building engulfed as it was last night.
Matt, what about this stay put advice? Because that's always been the advice in a tall building: stay put. You've got a fire resistant door. It wasn't the right advice.
Well,
on this occasion,
I think the advice, and even on the clip there, was if your own flat is not affected. The logic of construction of tower blocks is to compartmentalize the fire.
Indeed.
So a fire should be restricted to the flat or floor of origin. There should be smoke-resistant, smoke-safe doors on every floor, so that that residents can firstly get out if they need to. Secondly, that firefighters can enter the building, put water in the bottom, get water out at the top, and put out the fire in the flat. That's the whole logic. But if during the course of renovations, I'm not saying this has happened because we don't know, if during the course of renovations, then fire-resistant walls, doors, ceilings, etc. have been compromised, then clearly the whole basis on which that advice is based falls apart. That's why the advice is there. In this incident, clearly it wasn't adequate for those people.
David, someone's head's got to roll over this, haven't they? And who's it going to be? Because it sounds like it's people much higher up than fire chiefs or council chiefs. It sounds like it's policy decisions. You serve in Parliament.
Today is the wrong day, and of course, every instant there's someone to blame. But I hope the new minister, Nick Hurd, will immediately tell all local authorities, all housing associations who have tower blocks in their stock to do an immediate review of their fire safety precautions. Forget Parliament convening, that's got to be done immediately, and I hope now that our all-party parliamentary groups advice will be acted on.
Matt, buildings renovated with polyethylene cladding, tall buildings, we can't deem them to be safe, can we, at this point? There are probably quite a few of them around.
There may well. We don't know the scale of that. We've had that's the problem about Lakenhall House. We had an incident where 6 people died, where again the building's fire protection had been compromised by alterations. Firefighters couldn't do their job in that situation. A coroner recommended action was taken. Action hasn't been taken, and people living in those blocks have the right now to ask that those questions are answered. The point is, and I'll finish, is this should not be happening. That's the horrible aspect to this event.
Thank you both very much indeed. Well, what does all this say about